What's up, YouTube? Oh my god, it's been like 3 months. Holy crap. So I wrote this article. I did this for Sun and Moon for people that know me on Facebook and cuz I'm bored, honestly. But now that I have a YouTube, I can share this note with everybody. Um I'm not going to give you the link for it, which would normally be at the top of the screen, but I've cut that out. So yeah, there will be some spoilers, though I don't know how you would be able to avoid any spoilers for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, especially the new Pokemon. But be warned. So there's a whole introduction here, and wow. So we're gonna start. Most of this, by the way, a lot of this is Theorymon. A lot of this is me taking a guess at what the stats spread might be, or what I'd like it to be, or how it would be really cool if it was. And some of the information. So we're gonna start with the Ultra Beasts, the new ones, and we're gonna start with UB Burst, which, if you do not know, is a Fire Ghost type Pokemon, and it has a pretty unique exclusive signature move called Mind Blown, which is a fire type move that does considerable damage to the opponent, but does 50% to itself in the process. So it's basically like a belly drum, except that it does a bunch of damage, which is really, really cool. And below is my ridiculous stat spread for this. Well, it's an Ultra Beast, so it's not that ridiculous. So it's got 87 in HP, 99 in attack, which is pretty high. 54 in both of its defenses, 139 in special attack, and 137 in speed, for a base stat total of 570, like every other Ultra Beast. And so basically, it's a really interesting Pokemon that has, typing already shared by, Alolan and Marowak. So I thought it was really strange that they made it both fire and ghost, because when this thing was coming out, I saw that it was using its move against Decidueye and Metagross, and that it was super effective against its moves that were using were super effective against both of them. So I said to myself, well, it either has to be fire, or it has to be ghost, or it has to be dark. I didn't think that it would be both fire and ghost, but I figured it would be fire, because I don't know, something about it looks like, there's nothing to suggest it to be a fire type, but there's even less to suggest to be a ghost type. So I figured fire type might work, because it's like burst, like fireworks, I think is the idea behind this. By the way, since it's the first Ultra Beast to have its own signature move, it might have its own Z move. And there's no confirmation or anything along those lines, but maybe Mind Blown will get its own Z move. We'll see. But this is a really, really good Ultra Beast. It's like the anti-Ultra Beast. Just look at people who are using Alolan Marowak in Chandelure in OU. They use it because it can come in on Scizor, except for when Scizor happens to have what's that move called? The dark type one that everybody was using. Not knockoff. I don't even remember what it's called because I never see it. But it gets a technician boost. But it can switch in on Scizor. It can come in on Ferrothorn. It can come in on Celesteela, Kartana. It can kind of come in on Tapu Koko. It can come in on Magearna. It can come in on all kinds of things. So many switch-ins for this mon. And the thing about this is it looks fast. Ultra Beasts tend to be, they tend to be a little slow, but some of them are really, really fast. And I think this one's going to be kind of in the middle. A little bit faster than Tapu Koko. It's not going to be extraordinarily high, but I could be wrong. And the cool thing about this spread of 139 and 137 is that it can run either a special attack boosting set, which means you have to cut out some of the speed, or it's a speed boost set most of the time. And that's probably going to be its best set, is its ability to boost its speed, if that is indeed the case. Who knows? This thing could be like really bulky and slow. I don't know. It's a Lola after all. It probably won't get an amazing move pool. It probably won't get like Thunderbolt or Ice Beam. It'll probably just get your standard, dual stab. I can imagine it gets Focus Blast a lot like Gengar. It would also help take care of, Tyranitar and some other things. Mostly Tyranitar. Oh, and it's I have this spread specifically so that its speed boost set outspeeds Greninja by at least 1 point, which isn't gonna matter because it's so fucking frail that a non-Ash Greninja Choice Specs Water Shuriken will easily take it out, unless it only gets 2 hits. But it's Choice Specs, so it will, and it'll always get at least 2 hits, so it'll take this out, and no matter what. And of course, as I wrote here, it's weak to Water Shuriken, Aqua Jet, and Sucker Punch from stuff like Bisharp, so that really sucks. It can live like Quick Attack from Pinsir and stuff like that, but Priority is going to really hurt it. So UB Burst is going to love Tapu Lele support because it'll be the fastest thing on the field outside of Choice Scarf mons. That's pretty great. Of course, though, much like special ghost types, it can be beat by fast Scarfers like Greninja and probably Latios. And common walls like Chansey and Toxapex. But if this thing gets Taunt, it'll be able to shut down Chansey. It'll just be a better Gengar. It'll be really great, and people will be like, ban this thing, because it's so unpredictable. You can literally run almost any move on this. Fire MZ, Ghost DMZ, Vitinium Z, Choice Specs, Life Orb, whatever you want. This is the spread you'd run for Speed Boost, and this is the spread you would run for Special Attack Boost. And outspeeding Greninja by 1 point by design, because fuck it. So it's gonna run Mind Blown. That way, basically, with Fire MZ, it's gonna run Mind Blown, because it'll get off basically 2 nukes. It'll be able to go for Fire MZ Mind Blown, and then it'll be able to go for Mind Blown itself, so it won't really have to lose any HP quite yet. Just imagine, firing off 2 super nukes, or a Choice Specs Mind Blown would really just wreck. But if it's, not running Fire MZ, you can also just run Choice Specs Fire Blast, which I assume it'll get, but again, you never know. Anything with a star next to it is something I'm guessing. I'm super guessing it's getting Shadow Ball. I'm gonna assume it gets Focus Blast, and I assume it's gonna get these 3 moves because it's a ghost. Anything that is a ghost or was a ghost, including Rotom, gets Pain Split. I know, it's really weird. Like, I can't think of any. There's only a few ghosts that don't have Pain Split, and those that don't have Pain Split have some other form of recovery. I think this thing is gonna make OU really, really easily. Though you never know, it could be slow. If this mon is slow, it's gonna be UU or RU or wherever Chandelure is right now. And then Chandelure is gonna fall down a tier. Can you imagine that? Chandelure and RU, unless it's already RU. So next we got UB Assembly, which this is kind of a toss-up because I have no idea. And you can see my ridiculous stat spread. I got 149, 144, 144 bulk, 44 speed, a nice respectable 80 attack, but then 9 special attack. 9. I feel like they're not going to give this thing any special attack whatsoever. But again, I could be totally wrong. This thing just looks physical. It just looks physical. I don't know. rock steel tends to be physical. So here's some cool things about this type. Well, here's what sucks about this type actually first. Is that it's 4 times weak to ground, and it's 4 times weak to fighting, and it's also weak to fire and water, and probably lots and lots of other things that I can't think of right now, but basically it's weak to anything that's common offensive. That's pretty bad. But being a rock type means it gets a SPDEF boost in sand, and that got me thinking. If that's what Game Freak is aiming for with this Pokemon, the fact that it gets a SPDEF boost in sand, I think it also means that it's going to be the first Ultra Beast with recovery of any kind outside of Rest or Leech Seed. And I think this is the key right here. It's going to get Shore Up. Because along with Sand, it would be healing 75% each turn. And we already know it gets Iron Defense, so it could boost its defense. It probably gets Amnesia. It could just sit there, toxic shit, and then just keep recovering, and you could keep going out to Hippowdon on other things and not worry. However, I think that without sand support, it's gonna suck. And most likely, it won't get my wish. It won't get Shore Up. And so I think it's just gonna be an RU. That's my honest opinion. What I want is this set, with you being able to pick which stat you boost, and being able to mix your defenses or whatever. But I honestly think it's gonna have Heavy Slam, Iron Defense, Toxic, and Protect. I think that's going to be what it ends up getting. That being said, it could also run Sandstorm on its own and then Shore Up instead of running Toxic Protect. And it's so heavy that I feel like it'll get Heavy Slam, and it'd do a lot. Look how much this thing weighs. That's literally over a ton. That's a ton. So next, I think we have the Surprise Mon, a very surprising Pokemon, and UB Adhesive. Nobody predicted this thing to come out. It kind of just came out of the blue. It was like, oh, they're adding another Ultra Beast. And there was like, oh, it's pure poison. It's really weird. Seeing as we already had a poison type Ultra Beast. I mean, that doesn't mean shit. We have 2 bug fighting type Ultra Beasts. We have 3 steel type Ultra Beasts. And we have Guzzlord. So they can do anything they want. But it was just kind of weird that they might do another poison, and that it might be special, and it might be kind of fast like Nihilego. But bam, 157 attack, almost no special attack. 131 speed, baby, this thing is just fast enough to outspeed Tapu Koko. That's what I think this is. I think this is a Tapu killer. I think that's what this thing is designed to do. Game Freak looked at VGC and they saw, holy shit, Tapu Koko's getting like 57% usage. And if you're not using Tapu Koko, you're probably also using Tapu Fini. And if you're not using that, you're probably using Tapu Lele and Tapu Bulu, and it was everywhere. And it was like a weather war on steroids. Because having your own terrain up, except for Tapu Fini, meant that you had your attacks boosted. Meaning that Tapu on the field is a threat, and you have to switch out. You have to make a clever double and get your other thing out there so your switching can take the hit better. It was awful. But this thing would end that all. 157. Gunk Shot. Super strong. Now, by the way, this can also get a speed boost. But it's gotta sacrifice a lot of its attack. Almost a lot. It hits 397 speed with the spread. That would mean it'd have to only have 396 attack. And I feel like that's just unnecessary. It's like Timid Kartana. It's kind of a meme. You can do it, but it's totally a meme. It's also like Nihiligo. You know, you can do a speed boost with Nihiligo. I've done it before. I think I did a video with it. I don't know if it ever got the speed boost, but it was there. But it's so like, oh, why would you give up all that attack? Just go all out and destroy everything. And I think that's gonna be what it does. And I live near trains right now, so yeah, this is the Tapu killer we've been waiting for, and I think it's gonna get blessed with move tutor moves. I think it's gonna get Gunk Shot as a move tutor move. Otherwise, it's gonna have to run something like Poison Jab, or maybe it gets a signature move. That's possible. I think it's also gonna get Ice Punch. Look at that little thing. I know it doesn't really have any fists, but whatever. I think it's also going to get superpower, and seeing how small it is, it's definitely getting U-turn. And that's something that makes it really good, because it won't really be able to come in on Tapus, but it can make doubles against them. And then, if you really want to get the pressure going, you have rocks and spikes up, just go for a U-turn. They're not going to stay in. Nobody runs Scarf Tapu Koko except me, and even that's bad. So I think this thing also makes OU. Oh yeah, by the way, this thing is gonna make UB Assembly is gonna probably be like RU or NU depending. Oh come on! Stop showing my Facebook page. Stop it. So we have Z move gains, and only really one, because there's only, what, 4 that have been revealed. There's technically a 5th one that I will talk about. It's a lot of Theorymonning. But this is the big one. This is the first one that happened. Kommo-o Z, which is Clangorous Soul Blaze, a dragon type move that does a lot of damage, hits both opponents in a double battle, and then raises Kommo-o's stats by 1 stage. That is so beautiful. Like, look at it. They actually did something with this disappointment of a dragon type. Because this thing basically has nothing that stands out as a stat. It's got pretty average speed and 95, I think. It's got really good bulk for a dragon type. Like 100, like 90, 100, 100, like pretty good bulk. And a good defensive typing to boot, outside of the 4x fairy weakness and the flying weakness and the psychic weakness and the ice weakness and obviously the dragon weakness. So it's got a lot of weaknesses. Okay. But it could take stuff like bullet punch and U-turns and all those little chip damage things pretty well. And stuff like like water type moves and grass type moves, because of that dragon typing, it just eats them. Just eats them up. But it doesn't have a way to boost special attack and speed. It does have a way to boost attack and speed, but its only physical fighting type move is Sky Uppercut, which is ass. It's like 90 base power and it has like a 15% chance to miss. It can hit Pokemon that are flying in the air. That's great. Too bad nobody uses fly. Except for, Flying Z Supersonic Sky Strike. Nobody uses fly outside of that. But because this thing gets +1 after it uses its signature dragon type move, which it's going to use most of the time, it all of a sudden becomes a totally different beast. I mean, now it has +1 in special attack, it has +1 in speed, and hell, it's got +1 in all of its defenses. It's got +1 in attack. That's amazing. And now the fact that it is mixed means it's so much better when it's all at +1. So now it doesn't have this move. It does not have Gunk Shot. But move tutors are confirmed for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and I think it's gonna get it. It's gonna get Gunk Shot. And it'll put that over Poison Jab. And I think it's also going to get Superpower as well. So that Dragon Dance sets can just be really good. Probably get Superpower Outrage. So it's going to get a boost no matter what happens. But this set is particularly good. And it needs Gunk Shot. If it doesn't get Gunk Shot and it has Poison Jab, it either needs to be like a naughty nature, so like plus attack, or it needs actual investment in attack. Because this set, I'll show you the set, it's simply naive or hasty depending on whatever, because I never know how it's going to behave defensively in a metagame. There's only 6 attack, not plus attack nature. You can run either of these. I don't know. I've never really used Kommo-o. And without Gunk Shot... Okay, so Gunk Shot 1 KOs these mons. And if it doesn't have Gunk Shot, it loses out on 1 KOing those mons. And without Gunk Shot, it misses out on 2 KOs on Florges and Clefable. Without investing in attack. That's really key, because you want to keep everything, because what Kommo-o is good at right now is its spec set, or its automized set. And this kind of like combines everything that it has. You know, it's like a Dragon Dance, plus like half of an automized, plus choice specs. And that's what makes this kind of good. It means like all of Kommo-o's sets are in one single mon, at one single moment. That being said, I want to point out that this mon is still 4x weak to Fairy, and because of the fact that it's a Dragon type move, it means that it can fail. It can burn out your Z Crystal if you use it on a Fairy type when it comes in. I believe that burns your Crystal, which then means you just have a terrible mixed Kommo-o, a complete drag to your team. And most people carry Fairy types. And so that's kind of an asset. Or not an asset, but a burden. But if you get that clangorous Soul Blaze off, and you get the +1, it's going to be really good. Also, you look here and you see Flamethrower normally, but you also see alternatives for Dragon Pulse and Draco. Why is that? It's because opposing Kommo-o have Soundproof. I think Soundproof is going to be the real deal, because then you can send in your Kommo-o against other Kommo-o to prevent Clangorous Soul Blaze from activating. Though I don't know if Clangorous Soul Blaze is a sound attack. It might still hit regardless. But Clanging Scales is a sound-based move, and if, let's say, you're at +1 and the opposing Kommo-o comes in, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nothing. You're just going to die to the opposing Clangorous Soul Blaze, if that's even the case. So, I put Dragon Pulse, so that it can hit those, knock them out, and not have to worry about that scenario, ever. Because whatever tier this thing is going to be in, it's going to be a popular way to set up endgame. I think so. I'm predicting this thing to be in UU. It might just make it into RU. And, yeah. Who knows? Who actually knows? Okay, so next we have the Lycanium Z, aka the Lycanroc one. And there's really not much to say about this. We all know that I got the new Dusk form, and that, oh, it sucks. It sucks. What the hell were you expecting? It's basically just a nice, you know, anime-based combination between the midday and the midnight. You know, probably average stats, so yeah, it's gonna suck. It's got Tough Claws, which is nice for having either Thunderfang or Firefang. It can't have both, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. Change this to Rocky MZ. This is the set on Smogon for PU. Okay? It doesn't change anything. It's going to be slightly stronger, it's going to have a nice potential in VGC that it can get rid of the terrains or whatever terrain is up. That's kind of useful. Midday is pretty fast after all, so it might be able to get off because there's going to be a lot of flying types and levitate users in the next edition of VGC. And yeah, you might need something to hit that, but I don't see it being really common. After all, Intimidate exists. In order to do real damage, it's got to go for a Swords Dance. It's not a good Pokemon. It's gonna stay here. And I know you see what's next. Mimikyu Z. Let me show you the picture first. This picture was released a couple days ago. This is real. This is a real merchandise toy. This isn't fake. This isn't like somebody made this. This is real. I don't know if Cerebi put it up, but every other place did. I actually don't know how this toy works. Like, this thing connects to the game? Couldn't you, hack it if you had custom firmware? Like, is that a thing? I don't know. Is this like the new Luna? Is this the new CFW? What's going on? Anyways. No idea what type it is. No idea what its effect is. But this is my idea for it. Ghost type. This move does a lot of damage and has the added effect of reinitiating Mimikyu's disguise if it is broken. And then it works by attaching the Mimikyu Z to Mimikyu, and it changes the move Shadow Claw. Now let me tell you why, even without that added effect, this is amazing for Mimikyu. Here's what keeps Mimikyu in OU, and that is hyper offense teams. That is why Mimikyu is in OU to begin with. Hyper offense, this is like the god of hyper offense. The fact that it doesn't matter what's out, it can get up a Swords Dance and create pressure and get off damage for other mons. It can break a Toxapex or break a Celesteela or break all kinds of things just because it has a Z Ghost move. But that's only powering up Shadow Claw, which isn't that strong to begin with. So it's not that strong of a Z move. You give it a 190 base power Ghost Z move, and you see how many mons that will take out. You're going to have to run stuff like full Fizz Def Toxapex, full Fizz Def Celesteela in order to not get eliminated by a +2 Adamant Mimikyu Z Ghost thing. And here's the best part about this. Let's say this thing does give it back its disguise, like I think it will. Because that would be really cool. Some people think it's going to change forms, but it's a ghost. Look at it, it's a ghost. It's got a sheet over it, but it's still a ghost inside. It's not going to change forms. I think that'd be ridiculous, and it would be really bad use for a Z move. Also, this shows nothing of that. It doesn't look like it's changing forms. It's not going to change types, that's for sure. Maybe it'll change its stats. Maybe there's like a super undisguised form and it like throws off its thing and it's the little thing inside and it's like super fucking strong. But it's still going to be a ghost fairy type. And that's important. But I seriously think it's going to put up its disguise again. And that means it can get up 2 Swords Dances. Minus the typical shit you run into when you're facing Stall and Balance. It's not going to be broken because it's still a Mimikyu. There's still Mold Breaker. There's still those 2 things. Shit that typically happens. They're still predicting the Z move and going for Protect or something. And I love Mimikyu, and I think this would be great. I think it would be great. And the nice thing is, this doesn't have to change much. All they have to do is change the Z move or change the Z crystal. That's it. And it's gonna stay in OU. Despite UB burst and UB adhesive, it's gonna stick in OU because it's gonna be really good at hyper offense, especially if it brings back up its disguise. Also, the nice part about bringing up a disguise is that, let's say it does get burned, one sword stance cancels it out, another sword stance gives it +2. That's very helpful. And if not, you're at +4 Shadow Sneak. Not many offensive Pokemon, unless they resist, are going to be able to take that, or be able to take 2 of them. Now let's get to the real thing people are looking for. Just kidding, people are looking for new Alola forms and new Ultra Beasts, and we're not going to get any new Alola forms. God damn you, Game Freak. But we are going to get new Necrozma forms. New Necrozma forms. Oh my goodness. We got Dusk Mane Necrozma and Dawn Wings Necrozma. Or as I call them, oh goodness. Or as I call them, Necrozma DM and Necrozma DW. Which is probably what Smogon's going to put them as. Now, as we know that it takes the typing of Solgaleo and Lunala respectively. We know that they both have Prism Armor. We know they both get the move Photon Geyser, which is a Psychic type move that compares the user's attack and special attack stat and then uses the highest stat to deal damage. So basically for Solgaleo it's going to be physical, and for Lunala it's going to be special. And it gets the signature move of each in Sunsteel Strike and Moongeist Beam. But more importantly, it gets all of Necrozma's current move pool. A lot of people don't know what Necrozma even has as a move, as moves, but I'm about to educate y'all. Because I have used Necrozma both in Baton Pass and outside of once Baton Pass was banned. So I looked at what that thing got. It gets some amazing moves. Now, you see this and you're about to scream. 167 attack, 117 freaking defense, 107 speed. What is going on? 720 BST? How is that possible? Well, I looked back and I said to myself, okay, QRM had 660 BST and then it ended up getting 700. So it got plus 40. Necrozma or Solgaleo and Lunala have 680 BST. So if they get plus 40, they'd end up at 720. Now what happened with those is that what happened with Kyurem is that it didn't change speed. It added 1 to the defense. It took away 10, or it added 10 to one of the defenses. It took away 10 in the other opposing stats, so like special attack, it lost. So instead of being 113 special attack for Solgaleo, it's now 103. And it added everything into its best offensive stat for whatever. Kyurem had been sitting at 130, I believe, in both. It was actually really good. Or maybe it was 120. It got a huge boost in attack and special attack up to 170. So instead of going to 177 attack, which would be insane, and keeping its speed low, I figured they might give it a boost in speed and just keep it, because those are pretty goddamn high. I mean, 167 is amazing. That's almost as strong as Kyurem Black and White. That's amazing. And of course, both of these get exclusive Z moves to, it and Solgaleo and it and Lunala. So, this is basically the same thing. It's just reversed. So it's got 167 in special attack, 117 in speed def, 107 speed still. Really great. Really fantastic. And it gets its own signature Z move as well. So let's look at these. let's look at Solgaleo first, because I think, let's look at Necrozma Dusk Mane first, because this thing gets the hugest boosts. Now, Necrozma usually stood on the sidelines as a gimmicky stat boost plus, stored power mon, and at one point the god of Baton Pass. And now it can take all these stat boosting parameters that Necrozma has and apply them. That's what makes this so great. People are like, oh, it's gonna suck. No, it's going to be amazing. You want to boost what was Solgaleo's attack stat? Before, on Solgaleo, you had to use Z-Splash with Cosmo. But Necrozma gets Sword Stance. Yes, it does. I know it's hard to believe, but it got Sword Stance. So instead of having to do a one-time Z move that takes up a splash slot for one time, how gimmicky and awful is that? Now you can just use Sword Stance at any time in the game. You want to boost Solgaleo's speed? There was no way to do it before. But now you can use Rock Polish. That doesn't boost +1, that boosts +2, my friends. +2. And you know what? Let's say you're running a stall team with this Pokemon. I don't know why you would. And let's say you hate it when this happens. You already only have 8 Morning Suns. That sucks. But what if you had 16 Morning Suns? Because Necrozma gets both Morning Sun and Moonlight. And last but not least, why did Solgaleo never run Zen Headbutt? Because it missed, and it wasn't very strong, and it never flinched. But now it has Photon Geyser. Shit. And here's the really great part. It can boost its speed to match Xerneas. Yeah, Xerneas is going to have to start running speed in order to outspeed the Rock Polish set. There's only one downside, and that's this guy. Marshadow. He's going to come in and steal all your shit. So basically, with both of these mons, you're going to want to run like Arceus Fairy or Toxapex or something that straight up just walls Marshadow. And you're going to want to wear it down. You're going to want to get up hazards, threaten the boost and then not actually boost. Or hit it on the switch in. Or in Solgaleo's case, and Lunala's case too. I forgot to put that set, actually. The speed boosting Necrozma. Because right now, because I'll get to that, but basically, this thing gets up to +2. It outspeeds Marshadow, and it can kill it with a Photon Geyser easy. Easy peasy. You would have to set up in Marshadow's face, and nobody is going to do that ever. So here are the sets. There's basically 2 of them that I put. You have a Wall Breaker Necrozma, which carries the Z move, which I named Solgaleo Z. It doesn't actually have a name yet. Now for this, you'll run Jolly because you're boosting your attack. And the nice part about this is you can get up to +6. Beautiful. You can run Earthquake to hit Groudon. You can run Morning Sun to be able to set up more Sword Stances. Sunsteel Strike is going to kill anything. The Z move, what's it called? Searing Sun Rays Smash is going to kill anything that doesn't resist. And then, just for shits and giggles, you have Photon Geyser, which is going to do a fuck ton. Now this is, in my opinion, this is my favorite set. This is the set I think is going to break Solgaleo. I mean, not break it, but make it relevant again. Really good. You carry Solgaleo Z, which means this mon can't get knocked off. So that's very nice. You're going to run Adamant, and you're going to go for Rock Polish and get +2 in speed. You can have the potential to even Sword Stance up with that. So dual dancing Necrozma with Sunsteel Strike and that ridiculous Z move. Or you can run Earthquake, and you can run Photon Geyser, or you can run, I don't know if you'll get Flare Blitz because it does not have it in its move pool, but it might, because it kind of like, it has it, I don't know. Shit's going to Ubers, don't even talk about it. Now we moved to Necrozma. Same deal. Same story, just flipped. You want to take advantage of Lunala's ability to get up Calm Minds with Roost and then spam your stab? Remember what Necrozma did really well? That was getting up Calm Minds and Baton Pass with speed, and then go for Stored Power. Now it doesn't matter because it's so fucking bulky and it has dual stab. You can also switch out Psychic and Psyshock for Photon Geyser too, so it's even stronger. No longer do you have to go for Z Hypnosis, the gimmickiest of gimmicks. It sucks. I'm telling you right now, Z Hypnosis, I can't believe that's a real strategy. You want to boost Lunala's speed? You have to use it. Look at this. Okay, it works every time when you use it, but Hypnosis only hits 60% of the time. Kind of. But now you can just use Rock Polish. You don't have to worry about that. Now you've got a fast Calm Minder. Fast Calm Mind that does not care. You can run Recovery, you can run Stored Power alone, you can run Moongeist plus Stored Power, you can run Moon Blast plus Stored Power. Because here's what I predict. It doesn't get Moon Blast right now, Necrozma, and it does not get Flare Blitz right now, but I feel like they will be added. Those might be moves that get added. And if it gets Moon Blast, it's gonna run it. It's gonna run it in Stored Power. Or it in Moongeist. And you know what? If you're sick and tired of losing all of your Moonlights to PP stalling, you're gonna be able to run Morning Sun, Moonlight, and fuck it, you can run Roost. You can run triple Recovery. There's no point in doing that, but I might run it just for shits and giggles if it's possible. Yeah, Lunala gets Stab Psychic in Photon Geyser. That's really good. So it's even more bulky, and now it can abuse boosts with Stored Power. It loses out on Shadow's Shield, but it gains a better ability for it in Prism Armor, which basically does what Shadow Shield did, but all the fucking time. That's great. Which means, you know, Dark types are still going to murk it up. But it means it can set up longer. It's going to last longer overall. It doesn't need to worry about, oh, you might have full HP because I don't want to take a hit. Because it's going to take every other hit except for Dark type moves. But now it might be able to live Dark type moves at any HP. And same thing as before, be careful Marshadow stealing your boosts. Same deal with Solgaleo. These are literally the same two mons, they're just the opposite sides of a coin. There's the Calm Mind Sweeper set, which I have Roost here, but you can have Rock Polish here as well. You can have Rock Polish there, doesn't matter. You can run Lunalium Z, which is what I called it. You don't have to, you can run Leftovers. It doesn't matter, this thing is going to be massively powerful. I'm frightened. Then you can run Choice Specs, which is another really great set. Almost nothing has to change from this. You know, you got Stab, hits stuff that resists, hits stuff that resists, hits everything. And yeah. So that's all I have right now. I was gonna do a section on like wish lists for specific mons. Like, I hope that this mon gets this move to remove, but I don't want to speculate too much because I mean, there's only a couple like Mudsdale and Sylvali and stuff, and the obvious Ashgren Ninja is gonna get Gunk Shot, and how I think that's actually gonna change everything, but nobody thinks that is. I mean, because, okay, yeah, Spikes is really broken. But you know what else is broken? An Ash Greninja that hits almost as strong as Poison-type Greninja. Without any attack. That's pretty broken. I mean, Specs Hydro Pump's gonna kill, but so would Specs Gunk Shot. Even though it doesn't do anything. You know. What about if Tapu Bulu comes out? Holy shit, Tapu Bulu, you know, Tapu Bulu walls Ash Greninja. If you're 1v1 and you're a Bulu, would you rather have Spikes or would you rather have Gunk Shot? Anyways, I will do a full video on that probably soon. Maybe if we get some more information, maybe it'll be right when we get the information, a couple of weeks before. Looking forward to it. Anyways, that's all my analysis, all my Theorymon. None of this is real. Just, it'll be edited when it's done. I'll probably do a second video on this in the future. But please, like, comment, subscribe. Definitely comment. Call me stupid. Do whatever you want. Go for it. I don't care. Yeah. And I'll probably be doing some battles. Kind of. I don't know what I'm going to do because Pokemon sucks as a game right now. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating when you get crit twice in a row. Or when your opponent just brings Thoughtless Stall. Or all kinds of things that make the game really... It's better. There's no Doug Trio. There's no getting trapped. Except that there is. Everybody and their mother uses Magma Storm Heatran now. It's like the same thing. It's awful. It feels awful. But anyways, see y'all soon.